Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead episode 4. Countdown. Yes, we are going with Life Without Nick. Here we go. I know it's going to be tough for a lot of people to watch, but here's the thing. It's not usually the episode where they kill a major character. It's usually the episode after where it really makes sense. Can they follow up? Can they keep our interest? Because here's what's going to happen. A lot of us really were shocked by it. We accepted it. We thought it was good writing. But the trolls are going to come out in full force, and then the people that are on the fence are going to come out if they don't follow it up with a good episode. If it's cheesy, if it's corny, if they don't, get some bang for their buck this time, everybody's going to say, well, they shouldn't have killed Nick in the first place. But I think tonight is going to be action-packed, and I do think there's going to be some mystery, some mystique out there. We're going to talk about that in 1 second. And no spoilers. This is pretty good stuff because spoilers are not being leaked. Fear the Walking Dead. Their writers, their producers have a real tight grip on that stuff this season. But we are going to talk about some of the teasers. We're going to talk about some of the things that we know are going to happen and then sort of piece it together and see if there's anything shocking that's going to happen tonight. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here. Appreciate the 999 Army in full effect. Also, I do want to let you guys know we have changed the schedule a little bit. Tomorrow night, exciting news, we will be back. We did this last year, and I think it was May 17th last year, so almost a full year ago, maybe a week early. But we started doing our Walking Dead Season 8 last year, spoiler chat live, and every week we're talking about episodes. We're going to start that tomorrow, so we're actually started a week early because there are some spoilers, some pictures, some casting, some things that are out there, and I'm looking forward to getting that conversation going back in full effect. So here we go. Let's, Mambo, good point. I mean, with this show, it is nice. Look, I've told you guys for a long time, if there were no spoiler sites out there, I would be perfectly fine with it. Because our group has as much fun doing predictions as anything else. It's just when they get leaked out there, we got to talk about it because they're out there. And that's what people, they get them in their hands and they're going to come into streams and talk about them. So we might as well, jump right in and do it. So Pete M, 99, so happy to finally hit this stream live on Sunday. I'm in the West and usually miss it. Well, you know what, Pete? We are glad that you are here tonight as well. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you being here and being a part of the 99 Army. So let's get right into tonight's storyline. If you guys are new, I see most of the faces, but we may get a couple new faces here or there. We're going to talk about some different topics, and this is interaction. It is almost, this podcast is like a live forum. It comes to life because, in a forum, someone types something and then someone responds to it, and a day or two later, someone else responds to it, and they're not usually there to answer it, and all these things happen. What we do is we pose the questions and take your comments live. So your participation is wanted, is needed, is required. Get involved unless you're driving or cooking or doing something you can't stop. So tonight's episode is titled Buried. And I don't know that we're literally going to see a burying of Nick. I think it's going to be more of a metaphor type of thing that the group has to move on. And that's a little bit of what we heard. So one of the synopsis that Elysian Group tries to move on, but it's going to be weighing. I mean, it's her brother. We saw a little bit of that emotion last week. Lucy's going to be there. You don't really have the words to say in that situation, but what tends to happen in Walking Dead is the writers know that we don't want to dwell on it. So what they normally do is they'll either do a flashback or danger. Danger will happen, right? So, just when we're starting to miss Nick a little bit and it's going to get a little bit sappy, I think that they're going to be attacked. And you got to get right back into the fray. But tonight, we're actually going to get some good action of previous to The Walking Dead. Exactly. So Maggie says just bury the feelings to focus on survival because that is the next wave. And the best way to focus on survival is to get attacked. So we know that there's a couple things going to go down. You know what? Shannon, you're absolutely right. Fear the Walking Dead is evolving, and there are some things tonight that I think you're really going to like. At least I like them. One is there's going to be the scene around the amusement park. That's going to be cool. You know what? And Jimmy just reminded me, I got to do 2 super chats. Sorry, Valar. I got so excited about getting into the stream, I didn't get Valar's super chat as soon as she walked in the door. So Valar actually said, hello, Army, Kills, Emmy, Kels, Sweet Tom, Bree sponsors, Patreons, and of course, Steph the Cuervo Queen. Welcome back. I can't believe I almost missed that. Thank you so much for the super chat, and also a big, big welcome back for the Queen. I'm going to tell you, very, very popular. I was getting a lot of messages like, when's Steph coming back? I don't want to be in your stupid streams without... No, they didn't say it that bad, but I'm going to tell you the moderators are very, very well received. So thank you so much. And once again, I'll say for everything that you guys do. Moving on to the next super chat, we got Jimmy's Jammin' wants to say, let me be the first to say Baby Rose has to suffer. I don't have any words. Thoughts, group? I'm gonna leave it for the group. I'm in between two super chats right now. I think I should have put a pause there because I'm gonna get response to the Queen and her court calling. All right. And now we're going to follow up with the super chat. So Jimmy's jamming, and you've kind of threw the group off a little bit. So Baby Rose, who is Baby Rose? The only babies I know of are Grace and Judy, and then Maggie and Glenn, which is going to be Herschel or Glenn. Or do you mean Charlie? Oh, that's Charlie. No. The little girl. Where did you get Baby Rose? Maybe it's a saying. Okay. Well, there you go. All right, we got clarification. All right. Baby Rose is Charlie. Well, I guess the yellow rose of Texas is the state flower. So there you go. All right. I can't bail you out with that one. But thank you. So let me... oh, I got you. Rosemary. Yeah. Okay, here you go. I'm going to ask the group once again. Charlie's fate tonight. Will it be revealed? Will Charlie get away? Will they capture Charlie? What do you think? Or was the group just so much in shock with Nick that Charlie was able to sort of get away before they get their bearings? Jimmy says capture. Chosen One says capture. Get away. Torture. They're not going to... They won't torture her, though. I don't think. Crawfish with a follow-up super chat. Who's Baby Rose? Who's Deanna? Hey, it wasn't too bad. I still got some Abraham at heart. Well, I think even when you super chatted it, we were all just a little bit lost. We got, I'm excited for Fear the Walking Dead, but I'm really, really excited for The Walking Dead. So we got some more people saying she'll get away. All right, let me get to just a couple things that we think are going to go down. 3, I can probably break this down into probably 3, maybe 4 storylines tonight. So storyline 1 is, well, no, I think 4. So the aftermath of Nick, where they're bearing their feelings. But as they try to move on, and I do think the girl got away because I didn't see her in any of the teasers, we find out that the group is going to start talking more to Althea. And we're going to start piecing together where they were and how they got to the stadium. And it even said at one point there were some narrations that they're actually telling the story of what's going on right now. So, interesting that we find that out, that as the story develops a little bit more. Now, it'll probably be a little bit faster. Now, that's one of the stories. Now, the next part of that story is going to be the flashback. And the flashback is cut into probably 2 different storylines. You've got a little bit of foreshadowing with Naomi telling Alicia that the stadium's not going to last. You guys are going to have to find a new place. Now, that could be that they're going to take over, that they're surrounded, there's no supplies. I guess Madison is hoping that the Vultures are going to leave, but at some point they're either going to have to make a stand or they're going to lose the stadium. But you've got the psychological warfare. You got the dynamic between Madison and also Mel. We see the 2 leaders standing off toe-to-toe. And there was this movie. I don't know the movie. But it was Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. And Val Kilmer was in there. And there was this scene where they were sitting. I don't remember the name of the movie. But there was a scene where they're sitting down and they were having the conversation before they had this big standoff. And, it was kind of like, well, if you see me, then I'm going to shoot you. Heat. There you go. So it's heat. If you see me, then, I won't be afraid to do this before this happens. Well, yeah, but if we are in that situation and then you see me, anyway, you guys get the idea. If you haven't seen the film, watch that scene. So what I'm seeing is this Madison-Mel standoff is going to be kind of like that. It's almost like he's talking about the condiments and then she's talking about how tough her people are. And it seems like there's going to be a future standoff. And then the comic relief there is like, he's like, you want a weenie? I'm good. So I think that'll be a little bit of a break because it's going to be a lot of tension. But in the process of all that, Mel does crack that line and says, every time you send your people out, there's a chance they won't come back. Well, no, they're coming back. And they will. But I think the people coming back are going to be Naomi and Alicia. So you've got Naomi and Alicia out there trying to find more supplies, and then they have all this action around this theme park with these slides. I think that is going to take the show. I really think it's going to be better. Remember when Rick and Michonne were out there and they found the supplies, and then the deer was there, and then you had the little Ferris wheel and all those things. I think it's a little bit of a callback to that, but it's going to be done a little better. With the slide and, trying to get to the bottom and go back to the top of the slide, and then we see that knife drop down into a pool of water. It looks like it's going to be action-packed. But we're also going to have, so that's the second piece of that story, but the psychological warfare is Mel just trying to smoke them out. Little by little. So I'm going to pause right there, and I'm going to get to a few of your comments because I know we got a ton of things to get to, and I'm going to get a little bit of your opinion as part of this countdown live that we're getting to because I'm excited. I don't know if you guys can tell it. I'm getting more and more excited about Fear the Walking Dead. It actually has a story now. So Chris Raining says, I think Mel causes the action. He unloads walkers when they leave. Well, Mel is so used to people giving up. Here's the cool thing about Mel, Chris, is the dude has a flower shirt. He's got like either a sorority, a fraternity or a smoking jacket. I don't know what it is. There's a little emblem on there, and then he's just so disheveled. Either it's him or he's collected bits and pieces. I think this may be him. That's who Mel is. He's going to be tough. He's going to be a tough person to read. So Valar says the vultures are sabotaging them. You know, they are. Little by little, they're either killing their crops, beating them to the punch, taking their stuff. And that really is probably, even if nothing happened to Madison, I think that's enough to push Nick. And that's the mystery. That's the mystique that we talked about, is how they're telling the story, but it's like anxiety. I think by the time we get to episode number 8, I think I'm going to have anxiety. Because they threw a whole bunch of pieces of the puzzle, and now they've got about 25% of the puzzle laid out. And tonight we're going to start to hear everything that happened to get them there. And then by the time we get to 8, we're probably going to know exactly what pushed Nick over the edge. So the cool thing about this episode is we always got to go back and sort of refer to the previous episode and episode number 1, and all these things are going to make sense. So Ron wants to know, who do you think will be more upset with the deaths from last week, Mel or Madison? Definitely Madison. Sheila Beasley, with the question of the night, wants to know, where the heck did Mel get them weenies? You know what? That's a great question. They either have some refrigeration and have a pretty good stockpile, have been saving up, or they're making their own. I mean, you know, they're in Texas. The one thing about... Is anybody here from Texas? If you're not from Texas, if you're watching the playback, leave in the comments if you're from Texas. They might be making them. I mean, if they're like, if some of these are really like hardcore, like deep in a ranch type of Texas, they could be making their own sausages. Who knows? They may have some livestock that's out there. Well, all I know is when he was cooking them, it made me want to eat a hot dog. Like, I should have made some hot dogs today. See, we got a ton of Texans here. Texas is freaking huge. There's like all this land and all these ranches. And, you know, they're close to Oklahoma and OU Crawfish. You're right up there. You're just north of the border. So, a lot of resources out there. And the other thing is, obviously there's big cities in Texas too. There's Dallas and there's Houston. But there's some places that aren't very overly populated. So some of the livestock may still be there. I'm not saying everybody from Texas can make sausages. I'm just saying that it looks like there's some ranch area out there, if that's the direction they wanted to go. Okay. But thank you for that super chat. That's the best I can answer your question as far as where they get the weenies. I'm going to give you one of two options. Either they have some refrigeration somewhere, or slaughterhouse. That's what it is. They may have their own slaughterhouse. They got a circus. Sheila says Walker weenies. That gives a visual of some parts falling off that I do not even want to try. I can't even. I shouldn't have even read it, Sheila. I'm staying away from that. It's Walker weenies. Yeah. Well, look, I'm not the only person that got that. The stream just went PG-13. All right, let's move on to the storyline. So, of the storylines that I think are going to be adapted tonight, is Alicia and Lucy's ability to move on. How quick will they bury those memories? how Madison and her standoff will take place with Mel, because we know that's going to escalate into something. The action tonight is going to be twofold. It's going to be Strand, and I'm not sure if it's Al. It was Strand and someone. But there's this walker. What was growing out of the walker's face? Is that like onions or turnips or something? It really looks like, I'm wondering if it's something, but something coming out of the walker's head. I don't think it was nails or toothpicks. I think it was literally something growing out of the walker's face. Potatoes. It's not a weenie growing out of the walker's face. But thank you, Donna Frank. I love it. Yeah, some sort of fungus, I guess. Sweet potatoes. All right. That should have been the super chat. We should have guessed like what was growing out of the walker's face. Well, I guess the natural question, all of you are thinking it. I'm going to go ahead and ask it. Can walkers be like portable farms? I don't know. Can you like plant your stuff in a walker and just harvest it when needed? I'm still a little confused about what water's drinkable, what land can be harvested. I'm sure there's been some dead walkers. If a living walker, that's an oxymoron, right? Hey, you know what, Maggie? I just said what a lot of people here were thinking. Yeah, a living dead walker. So a person is dead, but a walker is not dead. But a walker is a carrier, but it is dead. See, I'm confused now. But it's a carrier of something because it can still bite you. So, is the flesh of a walker contaminated? And if that walker were to die and become fertilizer, is the land contaminated? You guys see where I'm going with this? This is confusing. That's kind of what I was talking about, Frank, is walker fertilizer. Daryl can eat a squirrel, so... And the pigs were not contaminated that I'm aware of, that Richard fed the walkers to the pigs, because they went to the saviors. You know what, Pete? That was what Pete was typing it when I was talking. Perfect. Yeah, Bob. So good point. There has to be something that goes down with the... We'll get some more facts. Pete D in the house. What's up, Pete D? We're talking about really important stuff. We moved on to what was growing out of the walker's face, and we can't come to a consensus. Some people said fungus. Some people said sweet potatoes, regular potatoes. I don't know. I don't know that we're ever going to get consistency with that answer. But there's a lot of uninhabited land in Texas. So all I'm going to say is it might be safer to live on a ranch. I think they got it right. But it looks like a lot of other people might have the same idea. And they're going to try to take what you have. And I think the other real story. And I said 3 or 4, and I think I probably had 5 subplots going to happen tonight. The one argument that we've had with Fear the Walking Dead, and I know I've said this, is they tell a story and end the story, tell a story and end the story way too soon. So what I'm really loving is that they're not going to finish this story at least until the mid-season finale, and maybe even longer. So we've got another 5 episodes of the puzzle. Question I have for the group tonight. We get everybody involved here. And while you guys are getting ready for this question, if I could have everybody just do me a huge favor and slap that like button. I'm going old school on you guys. Show a little love for the 999 Army if you guys could do that. And I'm going to get to the next super chat. This is Captain OU Crawfish. First, everyone's a carrier. Walker bodies decompose. So in theory, walkers could be a walking garden if you use them properly, at least a safe bank. I was leaning in that direction after I saw that walker walking around with something growing. It's a tough one to follow up on, but I'm going to ask the group here. Let's go with our Super Chat spotlight and zoom in on Crawfish's statement here. So, could a walker... Could you harvest a walker? I mean, it sounds silly, but the more we talk about it, I guess why would you? That'd be the follow-up question. Why would you, if you could just harvest the ground? I don't know. I got to think this all the way. If you pin up a whole bunch of walkers and just use them, they would be portable growing stations. Yeah, it'd just be too dangerous for me. A Chia walker. It's an interesting dynamic. Well, yeah. I don't want the whole stream to be about Walker because, you know what? It might not even be a turnip. It might not even be a potato anyway. What if it's like a toothpicks or something? Then we spent 10 minutes talking about harvesting walkers for absolutely nothing. All right, let me... I know you guys got stuff to do before the countdown, and these streams get a little bit like random things. Let me get to the super chat, and then I'm going to wrap up with a couple other things. Did Morgan grow those plants in heapster soil? Huh. I like how you said Ann instead of Jadis, too. It's a good catch. I bet he was typing it, and he put Jadis, and he's like, oh, they're going to call me out for not saying Ann. That's a good question. I mean, it is something that I want to dig into. Get it? I can't believe it. What a lousy pun. We'll find out a little bit more. I'm gonna table this discussion, and we will talk about harvesting. It's something that I think is going to be in the back of my mind. Get it? But it's growing in, there's 3 puns in a row. The stream is going on way too long. All right. Thank you for that super chat, Crawfish. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Fear the Walking Dead because we can't run the stream on too long. We got to get ready for the next stream. Quick announcements before I recap and we close this thing down. So tonight at 10:20, we will, I know they were terrible puns, Mambo 55. At 10:20, we will do our live reaction video for Fear the Walking Dead. Who knows? Maybe there's going to be another epic death that no one knows about at this point. We will add a little bit of the recap, so it could be a little stronger dialogue tonight, and we may kind of continue it a little bit more than we usually do, because tomorrow, instead of doing the recap, we are going to do our 9 o'clock, our 9:30 stream, and it is going to be The Walking Dead Season 9 spoiler chat, just like we did last year. We're going to do this every week, so start giving the predictions and news and bits and pieces come in. And then on Tuesday night, we're going to do random things. And we had a great time with random things last week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We got a poll going on. We got some music surveys, a whole lot of things happening, and there will be a Walking Dead topic. And then there will be no live streams Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. I will be taking a temporary vacation, so I'll be gone for a few days. But we will wind it back up either with a special stream on Saturday, or if not, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled broadcasting on Sunday. Wow, a lot of stuff going on. So really quickly, just as a fast recap, tonight's big event is going to be Mel versus Madison standoff. The group moving on from Nick's death as quick as possible. Bits and pieces. Al is going to interview him, and we're going to find out a little bit more. That's going to be interesting stuff we're going to talk about. So take notes tonight. We're going to find out what's growing out of the walker's head and whether it's able to be a portable farm. And hopefully we'll find out a little bit more with Charlie. And then the action tonight is going to be around that theme park. So that is what we got going on, everybody. Thank you. I love hanging out with you guys on Sunday. So appreciate all the dialogue, all the interaction, everything that you do. Don't sleep on Mel. I'm telling you, Mel is going to get dark in a hurry. I still think that there's some real villainous behavior is going to come out of that dude. I know he's starting out kind of mild and easygoing and all of that stuff, but those can be kind of the worst villains because he's kind of playing cool in the beginning. So before we get to the shout-outs, actually, I'm not going to do shout-outs on this one. I'll do it in the next one. Will Saint with a quick super chat says, seeing how diesel engines can run on vegetable oil or taco grease, couldn't they cook walkers and use their grease for fuel? I think, Will, that's probably something that we will have to discuss in The Walking Dead, because that is something that Eugene could process. If it's some type of sustainable energy, yeah, if they could do something, if they can find a way to make the walkers more useful, it's going to change the whole dynamic of living. I think that's a great question. And there has to be a method. I'm going to deflect that to resident scientist on duty. Eugene is going to be the one that's going to have to figure this out. But he's probably not going to figure it out until a couple more episodes. But we will discuss that tomorrow night. I'm going to table that discussion. All right, and one more super chat. We got OU Captain Crawfish. Your absence will get homework. Yes, you will. You'll get homework. Well, not homework per se, Crawfish. Just some things. I mean, you guys will have some topics I'm sure you want to jump in there and talk about. There'll be no assignments, but just be ready to talk tonight because the show is going to be intense. There's going to be a lot of action. And like I said, it's not the episode where someone dies. Because you can kill a major character and have everybody buzzing. And there's just a lot to talk about and a lot of anxiety and a lot of sometimes animosity, but sometimes a lot of excitement. But the follow-up episode is always the one that you're judged on. So if it's kind of a cheesy filler episode or, a story that goes around in circles, then it makes the episode before that look worse. But if there's some fluid activity and a good story and a little bit more of the mystery gets solved and they do it the right way, then we're going to be saying, wow, this was just as good as the last one. And with that, everybody, we are going to wind the stream down because some people have to go eat, do some stuff before The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, sorry. I will see you all at 10:20 tonight. I want to say thank you to everybody for being here. I'm not going to do shout-outs because we got to get the next stream posted, but just lots of love to everybody. All the super chatters, thank you as well. Patreons, 999 Army. We will see you in a couple hours. Peace.